Well, hey, greetings and salutations on this technical issue-plagued day already. Woo, it's going to be a good one, I can tell already. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, ladies and gentlemen, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel, brought to you in part by our friends at Mint Mobile. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and guys, we are so glad you decided to drop in and make this show a part of your day. I got a few people joining me here. Of course, we got Robert Meyer Burnett sitting back over there. We got Ray Ora, Taylor Gonzalez sitting back there, as well as the guy running the show today.
Yeah, where's my intro?
Jonathan Boyko, and right beside Jonathan is, of course, Aaron Cummings with our very own Joey Bishop. How are you guys?
Mercury's in retrograde. That's why it's happening.
Well, look at that. What does that say on the back of Joey Bishop's? Oh, big sister.
It says big sister. And I guess I can maybe also say, because not only is Joey already a big sister, she's going to be a big sister again.
Tommy's going to be a big brother.
Tommy's going to be a big brother. We have another one on the way coming to you August of 2023. Another baby Degnan.
Oh, wow. Ray, yeah. What did you got? You got something over there, Ray. Oh, don't, because it's got, it's got Tommy's face on it. Don't want to do that.
Yeah, it's the air freshener with my child's face on it that I gave to Ray to market my child.
All right, guys. Here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to break it up into two parts. In the first half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to hear from our channel members. Those of you who are our beloved channel members, we're going to first read off any of the month-anniversary chats you send in, but then also Jonathan's going to set up a post in the community tab that's just for our members. Leave a comment in that post and we will read those off, at least get through as many as we can once we get to that part of the show. All right, guys. With that down, let's get things started here with an off the top, and that one is this. You know, it seems like we have been talking about streaming price increases a lot lately, whether it's Netflix increasing prices, Disney Plus increasing prices. I mean, the prices seem to be going up across the board. One company that has not raised their prices for a while is HBO. Well, wait. Yep. The news came out that HBO is indeed raising their prices of their premium plan by $1. You can bring up the report on that, Jonathan.
All right.
The news comes out that they are now raising the prices from $1 or from $14.99, and they're raising it up to the $1. They're raising it $1 to $15.99. Now, this is what it's written in Variety, where they say, Warner Brothers is raising the monthly price of HBO Max for the first time since launching it more than 2 years ago. Effective Thursday, January 12th, the price of a new HBO Max no ads monthly subscription, that's their top tier plan, in the U.S. Will increase from $14.99 to $15.99 plus applicable taxes. That's a nearly 7% increase that existing HBO Max subscribers who are currently paying $14.99 will see their monthly rate increase to $15.99 effective in their next billing cycle. Now, Warner Brothers had this to say. They said, this price increase of $1 will allow us to continue to invest in providing even more culture-defining programming and improving our customer experience for all users, yada, 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 yada. Same kind of boilerplate stuff we get whenever any of the streaming services raise their prices. I have said this before when the other places, when Netflix raised their price, when Disney Plus raised their price. I will say it here again. Look, we're always talking on this show about how HBO, when it comes to quality television programming, they are the standard. Yeah. There's nobody who does it better than them. Of course, they have some bad ones. Of course they do. But you won't find anybody making more consistent excellence than HBO does. They have not raised the price since, the thing kind of launched, since the HBO Max brand launched. Others are raising their prices. So it's interesting if we go and actually take a look and see it. How do these prices now compare? So let's go over my NDI there for a second. So right now, Netflix, they're basic with ads. But remember, their basic with ads is not the entire library. It's limited to 720p. There are other restrictions, but that is $6.99. The basic plan is $9.99. The standard plan, which is what most people have, is $15.49. And their premium is $19.99. Now we see how that kind of compares up with HBO Max, where their ad-supported plan is $9.99, but I don't believe it comes with any restrictions. And their ad-free is now $15.99, which puts it pretty much in line with what Netflix's standard plan is. Go to Amazon Prime. It's difficult to compare Amazon Prime because you get a lot more with Amazon Prime. So their standard just Prime video service, which you can get, is $8.99. But if you're somebody like me and you use Amazon all the time for a lot of other stuff, I have an Amazon Prime account for $14.99 a month, and that just includes Amazon Prime Video. So if you just want Prime Video, though, $8.99. Hulu, their ad-supported plan is $7.99. Their ad-free plan is $14.99. So again, right in the same ballpark. Disney Plus, the ad-supported is $9.99. Their ad-free is $10.99. But then there's various bundle programs as well. Showtime's over the top is $10.99. Paramount Plus ad-supported is $4.99 with the full ad-free at $9.99. So they continue to be one of the more, budget-friendly ones. Peacock, $4.99 and $9.99 as well. ESPN Plus, $9.99. Then you get Stars, AMC Plus, Discovery, which will be folding into HBO Max here pretty soon. And Apple TV, still doing $4.99. And now they have the least amount of content, but they have some pretty damn good content. So look, as I said when Netflix raised their prices and when Disney Plus raised their prices, I never like as a consumer seeing my prices raise, obviously. But when I look at what I get, again, I said this about Disney Plus, I said this about Netflix, I'll say it about HBO Max. When I look at what I get, if you were just to introduce HBO Max to me today and you showed me the library and the stuff that we've got coming and all that kind of stuff, and you said the price of this is $15.99, I would say that's a deal. I'll get it. Again, I don't like that I'm paying more today than I was yesterday, but it's still, the price point is still, Rob, at a place where I call there is value there. I still see the $15.99 as a value, as I do with the Netflix. Now, again, for some people, that's going to mean, probably for me too, because I've got way too many of these streaming services. At some point, they're all going to get expensive enough that we're going to have to start picking and choosing a little bit. But hey, that's what we asked for when we said we didn't want cable anymore. Mm-hmm. It is what we asked for. So I admit it. This is what I wanted. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this, the price raise itself, how it compares to the other servers. What do you think?
Well, you laid it out. HBO is the premium. It is the standard by which, it's the standard bearer by which all of the streaming services are measured in terms of quality.
Right.
And they always drop interesting movies. The other day, someone sent me an email that said, "Hey, did you know that HBO Max is showing Catherine Bigelow's Strange Days that James Cameron wrote?" And that is not available in HD in the United States. The only way you can get it on physical media is from a German disc. Now, it's not the right aspect ratio, but it's an HD transfer, and it looks great. And if you've never seen Strange Days, it came out in 95. Cameron wrote it. Academy Award winner Catherine Bigelow directed it. I think they were married for a time. They were married for a time, and I love that film, and it's on HBO Max. So that extra buck, well, that's worth one watch of Strange Days, which I did the other night. And I think that, look, what's really going to hurt is 5 years from now, where are the price points going to be for all these streaming services? Because all we're hearing, John, is, well, everyone's losing money on streaming. Yeah, because there's the arms race that nobody can afford. That's why we bankrupted Russia and the Soviet Union fell, because they couldn't compete economically. And at the end of the day, which shows are the most important? Churn is going to be, I think, a thing that happens with all of us.
Yep.
We're going to drop in and out of streaming services based on stuff we want to watch. And what keeps you there, look, I love Netflix. There's always something. I find that if there's nothing on Netflix, I'll go watch some foreign language show I've never heard of, just to see what it is. It's like when I used to go to the record store and go to the import section at Tower Records and buy 12 inches. I'm like, I don't know what this is. I come home and I'm like, wow, this is New Order's Blue Monday. Never heard about it.
Foreign language stuff. That's Rob's code name for hentai. Just so, anyway, but please continue.
What?
No, I'm just saying that look, Netflix's greatest strength is bringing shows from around the world. No one else is doing what they're doing in terms of vigorously going after really interesting programming. A lot of Indian stuff, a lot of Korean stuff, Japanese stuff I've never heard of. Not hentai, but good stuff.
That he's heard of.
That's
that he's heard
game.
I'd buy all that.
that.
But no, seriously, I think that there's going to be there is going to come a time when all these streaming services, if you get them all, it's going to cost you $200 a month. It's just too much. But HBO, I will pay that dollar.
Anyway, Aaron, you hear about this price? I don't know if you guys have HBO Max in the.
We
in
have
the Dagenham.
everything.
You have everything, of course you do. So, what do you think about this?
So, well, first of all, I mean, they got to pay for The Last of Us. I mean,
Right.
we just reported on the budget of The Last of Us, and so they gotta get. And by the way, I want to kick myself because I meant to write down the name. One of our viewers suggested the Craig Mazin podcast that the other day, and I started listening to it, and it's really fantastic. But I have mom brain, and I can't remember the name of it, but I'll look it up. I will say that. First of all, they have to pay for This Is Us. The Last of Us. Sorry, we know how expensive that's going to be because we just reported on that, and they know that this news coming right on the heels of all these amazing reviews of The Last of Us. People are like, "Cool, I'm going to pay that. I don't care," and I'm in the same bandwagon. What I would love is almost what you're saying, Rob, which is I'm happy to pay more to not have to deal with the insanity. Over the holidays, Tom and I realized that we were both, for the last 6 years, we've both been paying for an Amazon Prime subscription.
Oh, individually?
Individually. Because when we got married, we never did that thing where we sat down and we were like, hey, do you subscribe to Hulu? Me too. Okay, great. You end yours and I'm going to. So we've been double subscribed. And every time I go to one of the streamers, I'm like, is it your email address or my email address? So I said, we're done with this. We're going to put it on one email address and we're going to have one login. It's still so complicated because we have these packages, but I don't know what the packages are. So it's like Hulu has Showtime, and then it also has like ESPN, and Apple has Disney. It's like there's these weird packages, and I go, can you guys just, for those of us who don't have the bandwidth to do all the individual ones, if somebody goes, hey, here is every streaming service for one flat fee, I'm in. Like,
Cable.
I will pay whatever that.
It was called cable.
Exactly.
It was
Exactly. And that's
called
what I'm
cable.
saying is I love the fact that people have the option of a la carte. That should always be there. But for those of us who are just plain lazy and would just rather like shovel some money at it and be done, that's one of those things that I want to just shovel money at and be done with it. Give me a flat rate, $50 a month. Hell, $100 a month. It's still less than I was paying for cable back in the day. Just don't bother me with the 1, 2, 3 anymore.
We should start, instead of Movie Pass, Streaming Pass. For $50 a month, you can have whatever streaming service you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but none of the streamers will ever agree to it.
I do think that this price hike makes sense. It's on par with the other. If they were like, just kidding, we're going to charge $25.99 a month, that would be different, but they're on the same level as the rest of these. So I'm all for it.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? HBO Max, for the first time in a couple of years, has raised their prices by $1, much like the others have. It's now kind of on par with everything else. But are you concerned about the overall trend? Like Rob says, where are the prices going to be 5 years from now? Are we going to get to a point where we're having month by month picking and choosing which streaming service to have? Whatever you guys think, or maybe you're thinking, guys, you're making a big deal out of a $1 price raise. Whatever you think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's take a moment here now and look at what's streaming next. With all these streaming platforms and all these streaming services, there's a lot of stuff coming out all the time, and it's very, very easy to miss what's debuting. Fortunately, I've got an assistant named Taylor who goes and finds out all this stuff and puts together this dandy report that we're going to go through right now. This is what's opening up in streaming this week. Okay, what do we got? On Thursday, January the 12th, which is today, we've got The Climb. Amateur climbers go through a series of mental and physical challenges in a competition to crown the world's best amateur climber, starring Jason Momoa. I didn't even hear this. I'm guessing
I would watch that show.
A reality competition show of some kind.
I feel like of all the stars, it's like Jason Momoa just keeps appearing in stuff that I didn't even know he was going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
Slumberland, which is pretty good.
He does. Next up, also opening today. Finally, Rob has been counting down the days.
Game day.
Game day. Velma, the origin of the sleuth and member of the Mystery Inc. gang. Velma, starring Mindy Kaling, Ming-Na Wen. I gotta admit, I love the promo picture saying, get ready for some main character energy. I do like that a lot. Unfortunately, I'm not hearing very good things about it. Like, I've heard from a number of people who just Nobody likes it, unfortunately, which will make it awkward when next week we launch our Velma After Show with Robert Meyer Burnett, followed at 10 o'clock by the Velma After Show being hosted by Ray Ora. So it's going to be
where we review Rob's reactions.
where we will review Rob's reaction to Velma. So that comes out today. Next up, we've got coming out on Netflix. Also, I believe today, Vikings Valhalla Season 2. This is the follow-up series to Vikings, which I really, really enjoyed. Up until the last... I checked out the last couple seasons when my main character died, but I really loved the show up to that point. This one takes place of his grandchildren set 100 years after the events of Vikings. Opening up tomorrow, Dog Gone with Rob Lowe. Based on the true story of a father and son who repair their fractured relationship during a forced hike of the Appalachian Trail to find their beloved lost dog. Nothing will bring people together like their shared love over a lost dog.
It's true, though.
And now, there's the sequel to this is about how they take their cats out into the woods and hope they get lost. Hey, I didn't make the movie.
Them's fighting words.
I'm just
Don't start
the
talking about
messenger.
kitties around me and Jonathan Boyk. Oh.
Okay, next up. Also opening, we've got on
bigger than
Hulu,
him.
The Drop. In this cringe comedy, a married couple face a marriage test when one of them drops a baby during a tropical island wedding.
What?
Yes, wow. That poster doesn't scream quality. And I don't think I'm
Is that her
interested in this
expression at the
movie.
moment?
Wow.
And it dropped into their hands.
Someone's got to hire Ray Ora to design their artwork.
That
Yeah.
poster looks like a college film project report. That's a horrible poster.
And at the same time, it says it all.
Exactly. But I'm sad about this
does.
because I love Jillian Bell. I love her. Everything she's been in, I mean, from Workaholics to when she was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, I just think she's so funny and can do no wrong, but clearly she can because this looks like
Blame her
garbage.
agents.
All right. Also opening up tomorrow, we've got Hunters Season 2. That one, a lot of people, I never really did. I watched a little bit of it. I didn't really get into it myself, the first season of it. But I know some people that really love this show.
It was pretty good.
Yeah, I didn't finish the
I'm
first
not
one.
gonna lie. Anybody killing Nazis, they got my money.
Yeah. All right. Then we've got also opening up, we got on Apple TV Plus Servant Season 4. I have never watched this show.
Is that Rupert Grint?
He's in that. I only know of a couple of people in the show, a couple of people I know who watch this show, but they both really like it. Have any of you guys watched Servant?
I watched some of the first season, but I haven't caught back up with it. It was intriguing.
All right. Now, opening up on Sunday.
Come on, man.
The Last of Us
Yeah.
finally comes to HBO Max. This is a day that will be long remembered. And we will be watching. I'm very, very excited about this. So that comes out on Sunday. Also, Mayor of Kingstown, Season 2 with Jeremy Renner. This show is fantastic.
It is.
Like it's just one of these shows that snuck onto Paramount Plus. Now, Paramount Plus is on a few more people's radars these days than it was a year ago. But this movie just kind of snuck in. I can't tell you, Rob, how many times I talked to people about, and Jeremy Renner, like show of Mayor of Kingstown. I'm like, what? Like how many people have never even heard of this
This
show?
is Taylor Sheridan too.
It's also Taylor Sheridan who does Yellowstone and 1883 and 1923. It's great. And Season 2 returns. And that is it. So, Rob, let me throw it over to you. We had a bunch of stuff on here. Obviously, Last of Us.
Of course.
But so a little bit of your anticipation about Last of Us and what else is standing
Well,
out.
Hunters, because I like the first season. And Al Pacino is I'll say hamming it up a little bit. But it's a little bit, and that's a lot to say for Al Pacino, but it's fun to watch him. And the cast is pretty good, and the villains are truly villainous. So it is a fun show. And I have to tell you that I'll watch that mountain climbing show with Jason Momoa. I kind of like this new genre of show where they take movie stars like Will Smith, Chris Hemsworth, now Jason Momoa, where they go out into nature.
I think this is more of a competition show, though, where he's like the host.
Of course, but they're still, going out into the world. They're doing, Chris Hemsworth, I just like seeing stars interacting with Mother Nature.
All right.
I mean, the Chris Hemsworth Limitless show is pretty cool. I liked it. But yeah, this is a competition show, but still, I want to see Jason Momoa like on the ground while people are dangling off outcroppings, perhaps falling to their deaths. No, it looks good.
Won't,
and I think, you know what, the idea of that show, as far as competition shows go, I'll watch that show because you can't fake mountain climbing. So,
Aaron, I mean, obviously Last of Us with a lot of us, but Any of the other shows on here that are jumping out to you that you're going to be racing to watch this week?
I mean, no Velma? No, I have no interest in watching that. I'm actually on Rob's side. Tom and we cannot even start an episode of Survivor because when we start one episode, we just binge all 22 and then we get nothing done. So this looks like a show that, I love the competition aspect of it. And this is the kind of reality TV that I enjoy watching. I don't need to see a bunch of people, arguing in a house or a hot tub. I don't need to see, people being mean to each other. I want to see people really pushing themselves because you get into the psychology of it. And that's what's exciting to me. And Jason Momoa, even when he's not, we've seen a little bit of his personality on the red carpet and in interviews, and he just looks like a really fun guy. I met him at Comic-Con in New York years ago when he was promoting Conan. And I was there doing stuff for Spartacus. And he was really nice and personable and charming and funny. And I think that he's going to be really a great host to this because he also has the physicality. And I think that he's going to be exercising some of that. And I feel like there's a little bit of a biggest loser element of not necessarily weight loss or gain or anything, but just the him almost being in a trainer-like atmosphere.
All right, guys, question is for you. Do you have any shows on that list that are coming on stream this week that you're particularly excited about seeing? Obviously, all of us are for Last of Us, but are there any others? For me, it's Mayor of Kingstown. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's get over to our Mint Mobile hotline question of the day. If you guys have a question for the show and like to hear your voice, go ahead and call the Mint Mobile hotline anytime at 951-268-4259, and maybe you'll hear your voice on our show. With that down, our question today has to do with Avengers, Kang Dynasty, and Secret Wars and the possible inclusion of Ultron.
Hey, John and crew, it's Gage from Indiana. So I'm actually currently watching Avengers Age of Ultron right now. And the question struck me, do you guys think we could see Ultron return in either Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars? Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
All right, Gage, thanks a lot for sending that in. And on the DC side for me, Man of Steel is the DC movie to me that gets better and better every time I watch it, right? If I were to say that the MCU had a counterpart to that, it's Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron is one of those, we were talking about this a few weeks ago, I think, that Age of Ultron is one of those Marvel movies that wasn't tremendously well received. Most people liked it, but it wasn't tremendously well received. But as more and more time passes, we're finding more and more people are actually appreciating the movie. And I'm finding that for myself as well. The more I watch it, the more I like it. And the more themes I'm discovering in it that I really quite enjoy. Well, listen, one of the things, even though the movie wasn't super well received when it came out, was the character of Ultron, voiced by James Spader, which, of course, a little 6 degrees in here. Of course, Aaron Cummings was a co-star on Blacklist.
Guest star
on the Blacklist on one of the episodes, and which was always fun. So, and then when we had the animated series, the What If animated series come out, who was one of the main villains that whole thing kind of circled? It was Ultron. People still love Ultron.
Infinity Ultron.
Yeah,
come on.
Rob, let me throw it over to you here. We're talking a lot about when we get into Kang Dynasty, particularly Secret Wars, about everybody who could show up. And basically, there's almost nobody who's on the list. Out of the list of who could show up, it's a limitless list. Where would you think Ultron lands on the list? Could you see them, with the story as it is and the way the movie universe is right now, could you see them bringing in Ultron for these?
100%. Because, Ultron in the comics constantly is getting resurrected and changed in different iterations of Ultron. And I think, John, I'm with you. I really think that Ultron gets better. Age of Ultron gets better every time I watch it. I think the end of the movie is disappointing. The fighting of all the Ultron bots. There's no great. It's the climax is somehow disappointing, especially coming after the Battle of New York against the Chitauri and Loki. which is surprising. It shouldn't be, but it kind of is. And I think that's why people, but the more you watch it, the character stuff, the stuff with Vision, the dinner party scene when the Avengers are having that dinner party.
This
and
was
then
one of the best scenes in the MCU.
yeah, there's great stuff in that movie, but Ultron, as James Spader as Ultron, is great. And I want to see him show up. So could he show up? I think he will, because there's two different Secret Wars. There's the original Secret Wars story in the 80s with the Beyonder. Then there's the Jonathan Hickman Secret Wars from the mid-aughts or the mid-teens that had Doom taking the powers of the Beyonders. And there's all kinds of shenanigans that they're going to have to caress these stories. And I think Ultron is a natural. I think Ultron absolutely, especially that they use him in What If. I mean, you got to love that. And Ultron can have any iteration. He can be rebuilt. Anybody could. Doom could. I don't know if Doom's going to be in Secret Wars, but Doom played a big part in both Secret Wars stories.
Yes,
so
he did. It's hard for me to imagine them not having Doom in there.
I know, so I would think that they have to use Ultron. Look, right now they're going to have a secret skirmish, because otherwise they have to bring in new characters. They have to bring in every character, every variant, They don't have enough characters. There's not even an Avengers team right now that we know of. So I think absolutely they've got to bring in. And what heavy hitter villains do they have left? If they're not going to bring in Ultron, Thanos from some other place, who's going to be the big bad?
If you go to the comic story, right? I mean, Thanos.
Well,
I have a hard time imagining that Thanos doesn't make an appearance.
I think he has to.
Yeah.
But they've got to. I think they're going to bring every single hero we've ever seen in the MCU, every villain. Everyone is going to be in Secret Wars. Everyone.
All right.
Or iterations of everyone.
Guys, the question is for you. What do you think about that? Do you think that Ultron actually has a chance of showing up in the upcoming Avengers films? I mean, some people like Rob think absolutely. Maybe some people think they won't. There's still some people that don't really have an appreciation for Age of Ultron. I think a lot of people are starting to grow their appreciation for it. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to move into our main topics here. But before we do, we're going to take a second and thank a couple of sponsors of our show here today, our friends at Helix and ExpressVPN. Guys, we want to take a second and thank the sponsor of this video, Helix Sleep. Guys, let me tell you, just a couple of days ago, Ann and I received our Helix mattress, and it is the best mattress we have ever slept on in our entire lives. We had like this $3,000 specialized mattress that we got like 5-6 years ago, and we liked it very much, but this one completely outdoes it. It's night and day. And you can get matched with your perfect mattress too. See, Helix Sleep has a quiz that takes just like a minute to complete, and it matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Why would you buy a mattress made for somebody else? With Helix, you're getting a mattress that you know will be perfect for the way that you sleep. I hopped online, took the Helix quiz, and Anna and I were matched with the perfect mattress for us. And it is so easy to set up. Simply take it out of the box, get it positioned on your mattress, take off the plastic, and then give it an hour or two to breathe to reach its full size, and you will not believe how comfortable this thing is. All you got to do is go to helixsleep.com/Campea. Take their 60-second sleep quiz, and they'll match you to a customized mattress that will give you the best sleep of your life. And it's risk-free. They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for 100 nights. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will. Helix even has financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night's sleep is never far away. And here's the best part. Helix is offering up to $200 off of all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helixsleep.com/Campea. We want to thank one of the sponsors of this video, ExpressVPN. Guys, you ever hear of data brokers? They're the middlemen collecting and selling all those digital footprints you leave online. They can stitch together detailed profiles which include your browsing history, online searches, and location data. They then sell your profile off to a company who delivers you a targeted ad. No biggie, right? Well, you might be surprised to learn that these same data brokers are also selling your information to government agencies like the Department of Homeland Security and the IRS. And you you don't want the tax man showing up at your door because of some search you did on your phone. So mask your digital footprints and protect yourself with ExpressVPN. One of the easiest ways for brokers to aggregate data and tie it back to you is through your device's unique IP address, which also reveals information about your location. When you're connected to ExpressVPN, your IP address is hidden. That makes it much more difficult for data brokers to identify who you are. ExpressVPN also encrypts 100% of network traffic to keep your data safe from hackers on public Wi-Fi. So make sure your online activity and data is protected with the best VPN money can buy. Visit expressvpn.com/Campea right now and get 3 extra months free through my special link. That's expressvpn.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Helix and ExpressVPN for being sponsors of the John Campea Show. Remember, guys, when you support our sponsors, you're actually supporting us. So if you go down into the description of the video, right at the top, you're going to find links and promo codes for all of today's sponsors. And thank you again to Helix and ExpressVPN. All right, guys. With that down, let's get into our main topics here today, shall we? And how do we select our main topics? Well, that's easy. You guys come up with our main topics. Whenever you come across a big topic, issue, or story that you guys feel we need to cover as a main topic on the show, just go anytime 24/7 over to www.thejohncampeashow.com/contact. Once you guys get there, you're going to see a form. Fill it out with your topic or question. It's absolutely free. Hit submit, and then maybe, just maybe, you might see your submission featured as a main topic here on the John Campea Show. With that down, Aaron, what is our first main topic today?
Alex writes in and says, "Hey, John and crew, did you hear that the Fast X or Fast and Furious 10 trailer will be dropping on February 10th, 2 days before the Super Bowl? So I'm guessing there will also be another but shorter trailer that will drop then too. What do you think of the marketing campaign for this film since its budget is $340 million and it hits theaters in just over 3 months? I hope it's better than F9. Thanks."
F yes. It better be better than F9. Like, okay, look, a little background again. I'm somebody who grew to have an appreciation for the Fast and Furious. I didn't like the first 3 installments. I kind of got curious about the 4th, and by the 5th, I was on board. Hell, I liked 5, I liked 6, I liked 7. I even liked 8. I don't care if you don't like somebody, The Rock, chasing a submarine on top of some ice. I loved it. I had a good time with it. 9 was an abomination. 9 was an insult to all things that live and breathe. But look, if you liked it, you liked it. That's great. I'm just playing around a bit, but I was very, very disappointed with the film. I was super disappointed with it. First of all, a budget of $340 million. That's for a movie, because the Fast 9, now granted, Fast 9 came out and we were still in the pretty heavy into the COVID situation, stuff like that. Taylor, if you look up what Fast 9 ultimately made at the box office, I'm guessing it was in the $700 million range.
I think so too. Mid seven, yeah.
I mean, it's not the $1 billion stuff that the franchise started to accomplish, but there were some extenuating circumstances.
Fast or Furious 7 made $1.5 billion, I think.
Right,
Fast 9 made $726 million.
$726 million, which, hey, a lot of movies would kill to make $726 million. However, I think while the movie has its fans, I also think there are a lot of people like us who were disappointed with the film. And man, the money you're going to have to make, I mean, you're talking in the $700 million range. You're going to have to make $700, $800 million just to break even. So, but again, with the director change and everything, look, the interesting thing here is this, though, that they're doing what I think a lot of studios are going to be doing in the future. And we've already seen some studios start to do in the last year or two, which is instead of actually dropping the trailer on the Super Bowl, they drop their trailer around the Super Bowl, right? So we got this trailer coming 2 days before the Super Bowl, February 10th. Then on the Super Bowl, they're going to give a 30-second spot. But what we've seen some studios now doing, because before sometimes there have been areas where we've seen the whole trailers. Now what they're doing is playing a 30-second clip and saying, full trailer now available on YouTube or whatever, right? So I think on that level, that's pretty interesting. But I got to say, as somebody who really did not like the last one, I am very curious to watch the first trailer for this. I want to see, are you going to continue down the Thor Love and Thunder road?
Yes.
That's what Fast 9 was. Fast 9 was the Thor Love and Thunder of the Fast and Furious franchise, where they decided to go, hey, we're a little bit ridiculous. Let's go all ridiculous. So for that reason, I'm really, I'm dying to see, are they just going to get back to guys racing cars? Are they just going to have a good heist? Or are they going to get more and lean more into the ridiculousness of it? I don't know, Rob. First of all, they're dropping the full trailer 2 days before, so we're going to be getting it within the month. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, look, John, I've said before that the whole joy of car racing or car chases, which have been a mainstay of movies now for decades. The whole point of a car chase is that we've all been in cars and we understand the physics of a car chase. And driving down city streets, crowded city streets at speed is terrifying. Well, when you take the physics away, like they did in Fast 9, cars are flying, Fieros are going into outer space, it becomes meaningless gobbledygook. And it's not fun anymore. And you're just, I sat in that theater next to you going, I hate this. I mean, the stupidity of Fast 9, and this is silly to say about a franchise that is literally based on stupidity. I mean, you've got to give me believable gobbledygook. Even the greatest gobbledygook can have verisimilitude. I love Fast 5. I think Fast 5 is an incredible movie. It has one big ask. It asks that two cars can drag a safe that they probably couldn't even move around the streets of Brazil, smashing through buildings. I'll buy that. You get that one ask from me, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm there. But from the opening of Fast 9 to the end of Fast 9, it was one headache-inducing, ridiculous cartoon of a movie, and I wanted to punch myself in the face. It would have been better than sitting at theater getting pummeled every 5 minutes by these dumb action scenes. Sorry. That's how I felt. That said, I can't wait to see this trailer. Bring it on. I'm hoping, you know what? There's bad James Bond movies. I still love James Bond movies. And I got to tell you, I am there for this franchise. I love the Drift. I love Tokyo Drift, the third one. I love this franchise so much that I'm willing to overlook. I mean, this is like worse than finding your cheating girlfriend doing whatever right in front of you in your own house. That's how Fast 9 was for me.
Maybe Fast 9 is like
but
the
I am
Moonraker.
willing to go back. Wow. It's what?
The Moonraker of the series.
Moonraker rules. Come on, man.
They went to
talking
space.
about?
That's what I'm
no,
saying.
I'm going back, John. I can't wait for this trailer. Show it to me. Give me these characters doing cool stuff. Bring the physics back. That's all I ask.
But
Bring
make
the
sure you
physics
got your
back.
hammer.
Please.
Aaron, how big of Fast and the Furious household is the Degnan household these days? Like, what do you, is Tom going to be counting down the days of this? What do you think about the series as a whole?
I don't necessarily know if we'll be counting down the days, but there's a lot of faces in this movie that we are very excited. On a personal note, Jordana Brewster, who is just a phenomenal human being. She's in my acting class. We were talking about this right before, and is a weirdly a part of the fact that we have children. And I won't go into that. But she's so we're excited to see her. Of course, you know that I have a love affair with John Cena. He is the only human that my husband said that he'd be okay with me leaving him for. Charlize Theron is magic in everything she does. Helen Mirren. I mean, this is just a cornucopia of faces that we know and love, and absolutely are the kind of star power that that makes us want to go out and go, yeah, I want to see that person in some action. So I love the star power. And I think it's a really smart move of them to release the trailer before the Super Bowl and then just to have a little reminder during the Super Bowl, because apparently, and you guys probably already reported on this in another episode, the Flash trailer is going to be, in the Super Bowl. And I think that it's a smart move on the part of Fast X to not compete with that, but to already have released their trailer, get people talking about it, because they know that because of all of the kerfluffle going on with the Flash, there's going to be a lot of people talking about it for a number of reasons. So I think it's a very smart marketing move. And let's face it, as much as people like yourselves did not enjoy Fast 9, it still made, $700 and some change million dollars in the box office. And that is nothing to sneeze at. So if Fast X makes even the same as Fast 9 did, which I'm imagining that it will make well beyond that, I will be surprised if this movie does not get very close, or at least to the $1 billion mark.
I think it'll all depend on this first trailer and how well they're able to capture people's imaginations. So I don't know, but listen, it's got a loyal following. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? We now have a release date for the Fast 10 trailer. It's February 10th, right before the Super Bowl. What do you think about it? What are you expecting out of this trailer? Will they get more back to the Fast 5, or will they go back more and lean more into the Fast 9? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, let's get into main topic number 2 here, shall we? Aaron, what is our second main topic today?
Dr. Nick says, I just learned
Dr.
that though.
Nick.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, it's a Simpsons thing. I can't help it.
Okay. I just learned that though Hogwarts Legacy is not being released until February 10th, it is the #1 best-selling game on Steam. Why do you think this franchise is still so popular? And do you see this game's success as evidence that we will see more Harry Potter movies in the next 5 years?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Dr. Nick. If at Universal Studios, when you go into the Simpsons area, they've got Dr. Nick's office there, and a shingle that says, "If you can stick it in, we can pull it out." And I'm just like, I look at that every time I walk by and kind of
And
giggle
then you
a
get the
bit.
big donut.
It's so, anyway, yeah, okay, look. When you're looking at something like upcoming video game performance and all that kind of stuff, like games are coming, going, there's no denying when they first announced this Hogwarts Legacy game, there were a lot of people who got pretty excited about it. My wife being an extreme one of those. I mean, my wife loves the Harry Potter franchise. And as soon as that trailer came on the first time, she was mesmerized. And whenever like we go to GameStop or anything, one of the first things she asks Ray, when's it coming out? When's Hogwarts coming out? Like she's asking Ray that all the time. The fact that this game is still a month away and is the #1 selling game, to be clear, on the charts, it's actually only behind the Steam download itself and I think Counter-Strike, CSGO, but CSGO isn't a game that you buy. It's just counting all the microtransactions. But as far as actual full all-out game purchasing, it's the #1 seller a month before it even comes out.
Like the Steam software?
Yeah, yeah. So, but the Hogwarts is the #1 selling game a month out. And yeah, I think you have to be in denial not to acknowledge that this says something about, because the game looks good.
It does look good.
It looks good, but it doesn't look like, you know, how, remember when everybody was waiting for Elden Ring to come out for so long? Like people, I mean, this game looks good, but it doesn't look like it's the most revolutionary game of all time. This absolutely speaks to the popularity of the brand and of the franchise. And listen, while I don't think there's a direct correlation between the success of this video game and the future of Harry Potter films on the big screen, but I think you're a little bit naive if you don't think David Zaslav is keeping an eye on this and seeing that, oh my God, like even video game form, it's the #1 purchase thing and the game hasn't even come out for another month. Yeah, the passion base is still strong. And look, when we're not going to get into it specifically, we'll just acknowledge the elephant in the room. There's some controversy surrounding the creator of the property. But I think for most Harry Potter fans, they don't care whatever the creator's off doing. They just love this world. They've invested a lot of years of their life into loving this world. And I think this, listen, is again, not a direct correlation, but I do think massive success on this game will have at least an influence on future Harry Potter movies coming to theaters. I don't know, Aaron, you had a chance to hear about that. You're hearing people are buying this game at this rate. There have been a lot of talk going on lately about more Harry Potter movies. Do you think one could influence the other, or are they just really two separate things?
I think they're completely separate things. I asked Tom about this because as you all know, I am not exactly so versed in the game world. And so sometimes I have to defer to my better half. And he said, he brought up a really good point. He said, you know, look at the game Half-Life, which I was able to do some reading on, and it was also the #1 game on Steam. And it won, 50 different awards, and it was considered the best first-person shooter game of all time for a while. Mm-hmm. And where is the big successful Half-Life movie based on that? I think that there was a project that came out. It was a Canadian movie, I believe, that came out in 2009, but I don't even know if that's the same thing. We really and we've talked about this a lot on the show, that just because something is successful in the world of gaming, that does not always translate to success in the world of a narrative, storytelling, in the world of filmmaking. I don't see this translating into a movie for a number of reasons. J.K. Rowling and, whatever's going on with her completely aside. We had the movies coming out that were based on the books. So there was a very clear story. And if you loved that book, you would love that movie. And if you could always then go watch the movie and then come back and read the book that it was the source material. I don't know what the story of Hogwarts Legacy is. I'm assuming that this means that we have moved beyond Harry Potter. And so the challenge of, having Daniel Radcliffe, who is at this point, of course, too old to play Harry Potter and probably wouldn't want to come back and play Harry Potter anyway. But I'm assuming that this is a whole new cast of characters. So it really depends on if you're going to revive this franchise, that is a lot of capital to invest in, in something that is potentially problematic. So, and considering that this is not based on the source material of a book, but based on the source material of a game that's
Well, I don't
based on-
think anybody's suggesting or asking that they're going to turn Hogwarts Legacy into a movie, just that the popularity of the world itself would mean that Warner Brothers, because David Zaslav has mentioned that he's very much interested in getting more Harry Potter movies done. And if this game succeeds, not that they would turn the game into a movie, but just that the success of the game really bolsters and letting Warner Brothers see just how popular this IP still is amongst fans today. If that will kind of move the needle for them.
Yes,
going,
but
yeah.
again, you're not going to have the three main stars, and then also we've
that's
lost
another
several of
debate.
the actors.
That's another debate about whether or not you would have the three main stars.
I don't
Because
think so.
the reality, while Rupert's doing the show on Apple Plus, and Emma's had some success when it comes to her own stuff, and Daniel being incredibly gifted.
Emma's had a lot of success doing her own stuff, which is not in front of the camera. And I applaud her. She's very political. She's very much an activist. And that's what she seems to want to focus on.
But
So I
she
can't
has
imagine
talked about-
any of them wanting to go back and do it.
I think they would. I think they would. You know what? And I didn't think that before the HBO special, before the HBO 20th anniversary special, when you saw like how much of this is still so beloved to them, to the fans. I don't know. Rob, you had a chance to look at this. What do you think?
Well, I think, John, that the Harry Potter franchise is now the better part of almost 30 years old now.
Yeah.
It is a universe and a world that people, the reason those books became so popular is I think everybody who read those books imagined themselves in that world. They wanted to hang out at Hogwarts. They wanted to be a student there.
They wanted an owl to come to their window.
All of those things. They wanted to play Quidditch. And I think that now this entire, look at the Harry Potter land at Universal that you guys like to go to.
Yeah. It's impressive. It's very impressive.
And the world is a world that's inviting in terms of our imaginations. And there's multi-generations of people. This game is like a sandbox game too. You can wander around. It is wish fulfillment for 3 generations of people. I get to finally descend into the world of Harry Potter. I have a playable character, and I get to experience all of these things. I think as a video game, it's genius. I think it's going to be monstrously huge, and people are going to be playing it probably for the rest of their lives. Now, this is a franchise like Fantastic Beasts, which is interesting because Fantastic Beasts has not, I don't think it was a bad franchise, but it was created off the back of the Harry Potter franchise. And there's a lot of good stuff in it. I liked a lot of the performances and everything, but it wasn't Harry Potter. It was an adjunct. It was like the Bourne Legacy with Jeremy Renner. It wasn't a bad movie, but it wasn't Jason Bourne. So I don't think the video game is necessarily going to inspire a new movie. However, I think David Zaslav's number one priority next to getting DC on track, even above that, is to bring back those 3 kids and make adult Harry Potter films. I think that's their number one, and they'd be stupid not to. And I think even the controversy with J.K. Rowling is very limited in terms of its scope with certain people. A lot of people don't even know about that. And so I don't think, and obviously she can't, there's not going to be any Harry Potter without a
Well, no,
partnership
that's
with
obvious,
her.
yeah.
But I still think that the world wants, I can't think of a franchise that people want more of than to see those 3 kids as adults. I want to know what happens. If you're a wizard, what happens when you're 30? Like, do you use it in dating? You like ensorcel girls at the bar? Like, what do you do if you're a wizard? Like, I don't know. I want to know. I want to see what 30-year-old Harry Potter, by the way, that sounds really creepy and weird. Sorry I said that. I was just top of my head. I wouldn't do that if I was a wizard. But you know what is the responsibility? And now with Voldemort gone, what happens in the world? Do you, as a wizard, do you stop wars? What do you do?
What is the Wizarding World's equation of Bumble?
Okay, so, all right. You know what? I think I might be getting on board with this. And thank you to those in the chat who were correcting me that Hogwarts Legacy is actually a prequel.
Yeah, it happens before. Yeah.
Now I understand. Thank you so much. See, we all are learning new things here. But you know what? On that note, I can see that world. If it's not based on a video game, because that was how I interpreted the question
Right,
was,
right.
Yeah.
would this video game translate to a movie? And I don't necessarily think that's a one-to-one correlation. But if we're exploring the world, sure, I still have my doubts about the original 3 coming back, but that doesn't mean that, there's still not a story to be told. So I could be convinced.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The Harry Potter game apparently is the #1 seller on Steam right now, a month before it comes out. Do you think that's saying something to the powers that be, that there is still a huge hunger out there for the world of Harry Potter? Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe just gamers thought the game looked really, really good. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 3, shall we? Aaron, what is our third main topic today?
Vaughn writes in to say, Ezra Miller is in the news again. Not for anything new, just that they pled guilty in the court case. To me, it sounds like Ezra's getting off pretty easy. I know you have some background in this sort of stuff, so I wanted to see what you thought about the sentence. Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Vaughn. And so as you know, Ezra Miller has been getting themselves into trouble for the better part of a couple of years now. And it felt like every month and a half there would be a new thing, whether it was throwing chairs at people or choking somebody or breaking into somebody's bedroom or breaking into their house and stealing alcohol or the alleged grooming of a young girl or all this kind of stuff. Just, it was like greatest hits, one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. Well, we were all very happy to see that Ezra Miller came out and say, I've been acting kind of stupid and I need to take accountability. Good to see. Good to see. Well, the ramifications of these actions are now starting to play off. Ezra had to appear in court and was facing 3 charges. And I can't remember what one of them. One
Petty
of them was larceny and burglary.
And
trespassing.
And it was burglary. Yeah, it was like of a burglary of an unoccupied residence.
Something along those lines. So what happened was Ezra Miller had initially pleaded not guilty. However, they did reach a plea bargain agreement and they changed their plea to guilty on the count of trespassing. And in exchange for that plea of guilty on trespassing, they dropped the other 2 charges. So this is what now happens with Ezra. Ezra is getting an 85 to 90, according to the court documents, Ezra is facing an 85 to 90 day suspended sentence with a probationary period of 1 year and a $500 fine. So a 90-day suspended sentence plus 1 year probation and a $500 fine. So our viewer writes in and is asking, is Ezra getting off light? Is Ezra getting off easy? There's a couple things to keep in mind. I'm seeing some people complaining about that, but remember, this was not a court case covering the totality of all the trouble that Ezra has gotten themselves into over the past couple of years. This was about one specific incident. Now, a lot of times it's a lot better for the courts just to accept plea bargains because it saves the public a lot of money to do it that way. It gets rid of the idea of a long, prolonged, dragged out court case and blah, blah. The prosecution is happy to take a lesser charge. Sometimes so is the defendant if they know they don't have a good chance, and done. Now, this does not necessarily mean, just because Ezra got a suspended sentence, does not necessarily mean Ezra will avoid any jail time. Because as a suspended sentence, Ezra Miller, and I have not seen the document of what the conditions are going to be of the suspended sentence, but Ezra Miller is going to have to abide by a parole and a certain set of guidelines that Ezra's going to have to follow. Because a judge at any time, the state can go back to subpoena the judge to take a look at Ezra again. And because if Ezra violates any of the terms, then the judge says, great, that suspended sentence is no longer suspended. And Ezra could end up doing a little bit of jail time on this. But again, I want to emphasize to people who think that's all Ezra Miller got for all this stuff. No, this is what Ezra Miller got for this one particular thing. And I go ahead.
And because he hasn't been convicted of anything else, you can't use that against him. Like you have shown a track record, like this came first. So that's why also.
So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of ramifications this has going forward. Will some people say, well, okay, good, that got settled and forget about everything else? I think Ezra still has hurdles that Ezra's going to have to deal with, could and still end up getting jail time. Somebody was asking me, well, now that this is settled and it's all that serious, do you think that increases the chances of Ezra coming back to play Flash? No, nothing will change the odds of Ezra Miller coming back to play Flash.
He might play Harry Potter.
Could be Potter.
Oh my God.
He is in the Wizarding World after all, his character. So anyway, Rob, you hear about this, had to plead guilty on one of the lesser charges, could still end up doing a little bit of jail time unless, they behave themselves for the next year or so. Anyway, you saw this. What's your takeaway?
Well, I think they made the smart move. I think this is something, you can be cynical about this. They accepted responsibility. They declared themselves guilty. I think that shows that there's something going on. There's help being gotten here by them. And I think that, look, I understand that we always like to see people pilloried. It's fun. But in the case of Ezra Miller, they had something going on in their lives that we don't understand and don't really know what was going on. I just want to see people get help, get the help they need, and take responsibility and stand up for what they've done. And it seems to me, at least this is a beginning. And of course, the cynic in me is like, well, the studio mandated all of this to happen. They've got their investment they have to protect. I understand that too. That's probably a part of this. But I always like to see anybody stepping up, taking responsibility for what they've done and move forward. So to me, look, there is, as you pointed out, the possibility of jail time. That's always out there. But let's hope that they've got the help they need and the movie can come out, we can all enjoy it, and we can move forward.
Yeah, and by the way, I want to remind people, there is a difference between feeling empathy for someone and somehow thinking that there doesn't have to be any consequences. Like, I am very much in what the both Rob's saying. They absolutely, Ezra Miller has to face consequences and will. This is just the start of. There are going to be other consequences to come and has to answer and take responsibility for the stuff that has happened. That'll be determined by courts moving forward and all that kind of stuff. But you can believe that and yet also hope that they get better, hope that they end up being a better contributor to society and all that kind of stuff. One does not exclude the other. Like I remember saying once, I'm really happy that Ezra Miller is now getting help. And somebody said, so you think they should go scot-free? No, I completely believe the opposite, but I'm happy they're getting, you need to feel both.
Nor does it negate any of our desire for the victims or alleged victims to get help too.
Yeah.
Saying we want someone to get help so that they can stop hurting other people doesn't mean we don't want the other people that were hurt not to get help either. Obviously.
And our legal system is based on once you have faced the music and done whatever time you have to do, that you've paid your debt to society. So let the legal system do what it does. I mean, if you believe in that legal system, then it's important to abide by what the legal system then. And I understand sometimes our legal system doesn't work the way it's supposed to, but for the most part, it does.
And Aaron, you heard about these developments. What do you think's going on here?
Well, I agree with a lot of what you both have said. Not everything, but a lot of it. The reality also that I think that we need to be very clear about is that, so there were 3 charges. And as happens with pretty much every person who gets arrested, they have a choice to plead not guilty, which Ezra initially did. And then a lawyer comes in and they do all their lawyer talk and and the 2 lawyers work together and they try to figure out, okay, what's the best deal for my client? And then they go back to the client and they go, okay, you can plead not guilty to all 3 of these things. One of those things being a felony burglary charge that had 25 years in prison as a potential sentence.
Yep.
And go, okay, Ezra, you can choose to go not guilty on all of these. and then take this to court, and then you can be made
example out of?
Made an example out of, and you can risk going to prison for 25 years. Or the court has agreed that if you don't waste their time and you don't waste their money, you can do a plea deal and plead guilty to one of these, and we will drop the others. That happens in almost every single court case where a person is offered the opportunity to do a plea deal, and you have to say, yeah, I'm guilty of something, and they'll drop the charges of the other things. So in this case, he pled guilty to trespassing. Trespassing is a misdemeanor in the state of Vermont, and the maximum sentence for this misdemeanor in the state of Vermont is 3 months in jail and a $500 fine. He got the maximum penalty for what he pled guilty to in exchange for them dropping the other two charges. So it's not like he got off easy. He got the maximum sentence for this misdemeanor. Now, I know that people are saying, well, if he were this and he were that, yeah, I get it. The justice system does not work the way it's supposed to, in my opinion, a lot of the times. And people are very unfairly treated for a lot of reasons. But in this case, and this, as Jonathan Boyko pointed out, this is only the first. And this is just the one where he broke into his neighbor's house.
Yeah, this is only about the one incident.
And stole a couple of bottles of booze. A neighbor who he's known for 18 years, who was kind of like, we've been friends for a long time. He probably was like, listen, I don't want to push this. He was probably like, listen, do whatever you need to do, but I don't want this to blow up into a thing. He was not the woman who was strangled in Hawaii or in Iceland, wherever that happened. I don't even know if that is being taken to court.
I don't know if that's settled out of court. I don't know what happened.
Right, we don't know what happened with Iceland. That's still, he may still
I don't think that's been wrapped up yet.
Yeah, exactly. So there's still the Iceland story of the strangulation. There's still the 2 arrests that were made in Hawaii where he broke into the couple's home and was standing over them, threatening them. That has not been talked about yet. This is only the beginning. And so I'm pretty sure that they're like, listen, you don't want to start going up against a 25-year felony charge because this is the beginning of the road for you, Ezra. You got a long road to go. So let's try to, and yes, Ezra is probably going to be minding their P's and Q's and being really nice and not getting into trouble. Let's hope for the sake of everyone around them. Until all of these court cases get settled. But this is just the beginning. So anybody saying, oh, Ezra's getting off easy, just wait. Just wait. And remember, this is a misdemeanor. And they got the maximum sentence possible.
To which some people will ask, and this happens in most court cases, people will ask, well, why did they let Ezra off so easy by dropping the other 2 charges? Well, because the more serious charges are harder to get convictions on.
Right.
So if you're the prosecutor in this, you're thinking, you know what? We get our plea, we get them to plead guilty, and we don't have to worry about that because, there is a risk that like you mentioned the risk for Ezra, but there's also a risk for the prosecutor.
Yeah.
That the harder we go at this, the greater the chances we could come away with nothing. So anyway, this thing ain't over. Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Ezra has pled guilty to trespassing, is now facing a suspended sentence, a year-long probation. They don't behave themselves. They could end up in jail for a little bit. And who knows how this affects other court cases that'll come down the road, and how many will there come? We don't know. Whatever you guys are thinking right now, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys, with all that down now, we're going to move on and start taking our members live questions. But before we get to those, we're going to take just a second here and thank a couple more sponsors of our show here today, DraftKings and Ryan Reynolds' own Mint Mobile. Guys, we want to thank one of the sponsors of this video, DraftKings. Guys, the NFL playoff picture is now locked in, and your go-to place for wild card round action is DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. So to kick off the road to Super Bowl 57, new customers can bet just $5 and get 200 in free bets instantly. Plus, all new and existing customers can get a no-sweat bet each day of the wild card round this weekend. Just place any NFL bet of your choice, and if it loses, you'll get a free bet back up to $10. Action so good, why bet NFL playoffs anywhere else? And if it were me, I wouldn't be betting against the Bills or the Bengals right now. So guys, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code Campea, C-A-M-P-E-A. New customers can bet $5 on the NFL and get 200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code Campea. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Guys, we want to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. If saving more and spending less is one of your top goals for 2023, why are you still paying insane amounts of money every month for your phone bill? Switching to Mint Mobile is the easiest way to save money this year. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you order from home and save a ton, with phone plans starting at just $15 a month. Guys, I have told you before that when I was on one of the major phone carriers, I was spending literally 3 times as much every month, and switching to Mint Mobile couldn't have been easier. So for people just looking to save some extra money this year, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and switch easily in just minutes with eSIM. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bill to just $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at DraftKings and, of course, Mint Mobile for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys. Hey, listen, before we get into the questions that our members have been sending in, I wanted to just take a second and say a word of appreciation for all of you guys who sent in those messages and wrote to me yesterday. I really did appreciate it a lot, very, very much. So thank you for that. All right. With that down, guys, let's get into our member questions. Let's start with the month anniversary ones. What do we got in there, Taylor?
All right, so first up, I just wanted to say thank you to K Major, who just gifted 5 John Campea memberships.
Thank you, K Major.
Wow. Next up, we have Free from the Cocoon, who says, I remember another star who had a lot of problems, who turned his life around. That was Robert Downey Jr. He was held accountable and got through it. Hope Ezra can continue to help, get help, and be held accountable and recover.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things, Robert Downey Jr. talked about this themselves. Part of the things that helped Robert Downey Jr., because remember, Robert Downey Jr. had like a quote unquote fall from grace twice. And one of the things that he said really helped him through was the fact that there was consequence, some accountability. And now, like the stuff that Robert Downey Jr., that was more self-destructive stuff that he was involved in. But yeah, listen, we love a good comeback story, if the proper procedure is done. All right, what's next?
All right, so next up, Jared Vester just gifted 5 John Campea memberships as well.
Thank you, Jared Vester.
Thank you so much for that. Christ Courage gifted a John Campea membership. Next up, we have Retribution Zero. The Kolchak TV movies are seemingly going out of print. Is there any love for the Night Stalker flicks or show? We're covering this on a podcast, and I love your thoughts. We send our love, Campea.
Well, it just so happens that Kino Lorber has put both the Night Stalker and the Night Strangler movies out on disc, and also the series. For those of you who don't know, Kolchak the Night Stalker was a 1-season show in the 70s that starred Darren McGavin as reporter Carl Kolchak. And he also played an older version of this character, not by name, in an X-Files episode where he uncovers the strange and the supernatural. And it was derived from 2 TV movies. One is about a vampire in Las Vegas, and another one is about shenanigans in Seattle, in the underground city, Seattle's underground city, because Seattle's built on top of another iteration of itself. So Kolchak the Night Stalker, if you like spooky stuff, check it out, because Darren McGavin played this sort of, he was this great hard-bitten reporter that didn't believe any of the stuff that, there's a knight in shining armor riding around taking people's heads off, and he would go after that guy or go after ghosts. And it was pretty cool. And when I was a kid, it was awesome. And it has a great, the theme song is great.
All right, what's next?
All right, Nate just gifted 5 John Campea memberships as well.
Thank you, Nate.
That's awesome. You guys are all gifting them right now. It's really cool. Alexander Kent says, I think Sony would be a good company because of their passion for experience to purchase Regal.
No. And you know what? I think I'm going to do a little editorial video on why you don't see, because I get a lot of people ask a lot, why aren't the studios owning the movie theaters? I think I'm going to make a little editorial video about that. So basically, no, Sony does. No movie studio wants to be in a theater chain owning business. And again, I'll make a documentary. I'll make a little editorial video about that. All right, what's next?
All right, Mark24 Gaming just gifted a John Campea membership. Thank you so
man.
much. Next up, we have Fetshan55. Watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it was fantastic. Love the Rocks and Rakakuni. Love what you guys do.
Rakakuni is one of the best things I've seen on a movie screen.
Can I tell you something?
Sure.
In the past week, Tom and I have finally watched 2 movies that we needed to watch a long time ago. One was Dale and Tucker versus
Tucker and
Evil.
Dale
versus Evil?
which
Oh
was
my God, I love
awesome.
that movie.
And the
So good.
second, we just watched Everything Everywhere All at Once 2 nights ago. And the whole first half of the movie, Tom was like, "Are we on drugs?" And I go, "I think we're on drugs. I don't think we took drugs, but I'm pretty sure we're on drugs." And he goes, "What the hell is this movie?" I go, "I don't know, but people seem to like it. I don't really know about this." And by the end, we were like, "Oh my God, this is amazing."
Oh God, I love that
So
movie
for people
much.
like me who are just now finding this movie, kudos to you. We are like the last ones, but it's fantastic. And I see why it's winning all the awards.
All right, what's next?
All right, next up comes to us from Fernando Rodriguez. If I get priced out of streamers, I will drop any streaming service before I cancel my channel membership. Thank you guys for the continuous content, worth every penny, and physical media for life.
Oh, well, thank you. But the thing is, I really do think that we are in the next couple of years. I think all of us are going to be, rotating in and out which streaming services we have at any given time. I'll say, all right, the new season of Andor's coming out. Okay, I'll fire back up my Disney Plus membership. New season's done. Great, I can cancel it. And I think more of us are going to do that because at some point here, just with the ones we brought up, in a couple of years, we will be at a point where we're spending about $200 to $250 a month to have the streaming services. And now we start getting into, like, I remember it was a big deal when we caught up to how much we were paying for cable. Now we're getting ready to lap it in the next couple of years. So we're going to have to be careful.
No, it's crazy, huh, John? How much we're paying?
How much we're paying. Like, Ray, how do we afford it? I just don't understand how we do it. All right, what's next?
All right, next up comes to us from Brock O. Lee,
Yes.
who says, "Hey, John, what movie would you say was better, West Side Story last year or The Fabelmans this year?"
Oh my God. I'll say West Side Story, but only by a very razor thin margin. I mean, West Side Story was a little bit more of a theatrical experience. Like your senses are wowed and all that kind of stuff with it. Whereas Fabelmans is just a powerful, moving, gorgeous story. That is also West Side Story, but it also had the song and the dance and the energy and so I'll go by it. I might give a different answer next week, but right now I'll give it by razor thin margin to West Side Story. All right, what's next?
I have to agree. West Side Story last year was just so good. I think I
love
watched it
that
like
movie,
6
and
times now.
I trash talked that movie for like a year and a half.
I know.
It's like, come on, Steven, you can do anything. Get freaking. Who cares about West Side Story? And then I watch it. I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. All right, what's next?
All right, next up is Dominant Media. Finally made the switch to Mint Mobile, and you were right. My bill is under half as much as it used to be. Should have listened to you sooner. Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
Damn right. Send that. Make sure you, by the way, tweet Ryan Reynolds and let him know that you are a Mint customer and I got you to sign up. Listen, I am totally a salesman on this because they are a sponsor of the show, but I am not kidding when I say I am literally spending a third. Like you're saving half. I'm saving a third. Or I'm saving 2/3. I'm only paying 1/3 of what I used to pay with it. It's been fantastic. I love it.
Using that code, your name's stamped for the sale. So.
Yeah, I mean there it is. All right, remember nobody can hear you over there. Got to run to a mic. All right, what's next?
All right, this next one's for Aaron. From Aaron V. Hey, Aaron, congrats and thanks for sharing with us about the new addition to your family.
Yay.
Ironically, my wife and I are also expecting our first child this
congratulations.
August 7th. We are so excited.
Oh, congratulations. That is so wonderful. And I'm going to offer you a little bit of advice, like unsolicited parenting advice. It is not as hard as everyone says. It is just overwhelming. But you can do hard things. You have done hard things. You got this. And just breathe in, breathe out, and remember why you chose to have that child in the first place. And all those hard times and those sleepless nights will fly by. Just enjoy every minute.
All right, what's next?
All right, next up, Mark24 Gaming gifted another John Campea membership. Thank you so much for that. Then we have Possum Pratt, who says, I'm so sorry to hear, John, about Nona.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was a rough day. And on top of the passing of my grandmother, who was very, very actively a part of our lives growing up, was my mom had to go in for surgery. My mom's surgery went really great, so that's all good. Then I found out my brother was going in for surgery, but apparently his surgery went great too. So yeah, just not the best day yesterday, but thank you for the well wishes. I appreciate that. All right, what's next?
All right, next up is HV3. I absolutely loved A Man Called Otto. What an amazing and beautiful film. Truman Hanks was a great younger version of his dad's character.
You know, it's funny. I had not heard good things about it before, but I'm seeing more and more people saying that they really liked it.
Yeah.
And the ratings for it are higher than I thought. You know, Anne said, when are we going to go see A Man Called Otto? Because, of course, Tom Hanks. But I'll be honest with you, baby. I don't know that I'm interested in seeing it. Because I've heard some people, I heard a couple of people. Now I'm hearing a lot more people saying they're really digging it. So I think I may have to get out there the next day or two to go watch it.
I want to see it. I mean, I think Mark Forster directed it, who directed Quantum of Solace, amongst other things. But I just like Tom Hanks.
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't? All right. What's next?
All right, next up comes to us from Harv's K, and I could not agree more on this one. Just wanted to mention some gems more people should be checking out. Emily the Criminal with Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Wendell and Wild as inventive as Pinocchio. And The Fire of Love, a great documentary and love story.
Oh,
That's a great movie.
That's what the couple go up to the volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was actually really, really nice.
I
That was
really
a really
like
good
that
one.
a lot.
All right. What's next?
All right, our last one comes to us from B-Town. What's up, OG Campea and the squad? Do you think we will see Loki at all in Ant-Man Quantumania? This show brings joy to some people every day and literally changes lives. Bring on the filthy.
Oh, thank you so much for that, man. Will we see Loki? And listen, we get a lot of questions about people. Will Iron Man show up in Ant-Man? Will Doctor Strange show up in it? Will Captain Marvel show up in it? But the one that would make the most sense would be Loki. I mean, Loki never went to the quantum realm, but I mean, obviously there's a connection with Loki and Kang. So if there was going to be one, that would seem the one that would make the most sense. I still don't think it's likely, but if I were to set an over-under number, I wouldn't go too terribly low. 20%?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think so. I think that, the last time we really saw Loki, he was looking in the Time Variance Authority library and he saw Kang on that wall.
Yeah, the big statue.
The big statue. So I think you're right. I think if there's any possibility of all the characters we talk about, I think the one that we're going to see that has the most possibility of, and by the way, might not even be in the quantum realm. We might get some scene with Loki somewhere else, and maybe a post-credit scene or something. But I think it's probably a good bet. He's the one I would bet the most on.
All right. What's next? Oh, that was that, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, let's get over then to the questions that you guys have been firing into our not there. Nope. Where are we at? What are we doing?
Nobody
Well, OBS
knows.
likes to screw me over sometimes.
Oh, so we don't have them?
Mercury
Okay, there
is
they
in
are.
retrograde,
No,
guys.
it's just that OBS doesn't want to remember some things that I already set up at the top of the show.
It's technical issue
Mercury's
Thursday.
in retrograde.
All right, what do we got here?
Retrograde.com. King Daddy Goat says, "We love you guys so much. Thanks for everything. We really mean it."
Oh, thank you, King Daddy Goat. I appreciate that, man.
And then we have Edward who says, "I know you guys were underwhelmed by phase 4, but I have to say that I think it's the best phase so far. Every project was at the very least really good and most were fantastic. Marvel really hasn't had a misstep for me yet. I'm living the good life. Hope you guys enjoy phase 5 more."
Hey, listen, and that's awesome. That's the beautiful thing about movies, man, is that just because some other people don't like something doesn't mean you won't get some enjoyment out of it. And just because other people really love something doesn't mean you have to. That's the great thing about them. But yes, you are correct. For me, I don't share your optimistic appraisal of Phase 4 that much. Now, again, there are a number of things in Phase 4 that I thought were fantastic. Whether you're talking about WandaVision, Shang-Chi, Ms. Marvel, Werewolf by Night, the holiday special.
We liked Eternals.
We liked Eternals. I mean, I liked Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, but not as much as I'm accustomed to liking a Marvel film. Obviously, Love and Thunder, a little bit of a mixed bag for some people. I wasn't a big fan of Hawkeye, but at any rate. So yeah, for me, I don't think Phase 4 was bad. Like people hear me say, I think Phase 4 was easily the lowest quality of the 4 phases. That does not necessarily mean I'm saying it was bad. There's enough good stuff in there to be very excited about, but I'm just accustomed for Marvel projects on average being higher quality than the average quality of Phase 4 was. So I don't know, but I think they got a lot of potentially great stuff coming up in Phase 5, and let's see and starting with Ant-Man. So let's see how they do. All right, what's next?
From Connor Dixon, who says, well, I've finally done something I've been needing to do for years now. I've rang my doctor about my mental health. Congratulations. Your show gets me through the day. Thank you for all you do.
Yeah, you know, I say this analogy all the time. I'll say it again. We never attach any stigma to anybody who says, I want to get physically healthier and goes to the gym. We applaud that. We say, good for you. Well done. Excellent. Yeah. But unfortunately, there's still a stigma attached to people saying, you know what? I'm going to look after my mental health. I'm going to go and do what you need to do to get mentally healthier. I've got a couple of friends that, honestly, when I look at them, not a lot of issues going on, but they like to participate in mental health stuff just to keep themselves healthy and keep themselves balanced. And I think it's great. We need to get rid of the stigma of it. And we need to cheer on people that we know who are taking care of themselves, getting help mentally, as much as we cheer them on to go and get physically healthier. So I'm glad you're doing that, man. Good on you. And may more people follow your example. All right, what's next?
From Cash Crafts, who says, hey, John and crew, finally got around to watching Tar, and it was amazing. Definitely in my top 10 of 2022 list. Thanks, and bring on the filthy.
It's hard for me to imagine Cate Blanchett not winning Best Actress at the Academy Awards. I mean, listen, you're gonna get a nomination list of some stiff competition, worthy competition. But I'm telling you, at this point, I just don't see who beats her.
She's amazing. I mean, I'm such a huge fan of that movie, and I keep watching more of it. I mean, I keep watching it again and again and again, and I love that film so much. And she's just her performance. You know, it's funny though. I think we begin to take it for granted that these great actresses, especially not as much as with dudes, but when you see Cate Blanchett or Meryl Streep, we get used to the fact that they're just amazing.
Olivia Colman's in that as well.
Yeah.
Fargo.
Frances McDormand.
Frances McDormand, yeah.
I mean, but Cate Blanchett.
We've got several of the greatest of all time actively working right now, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and when you see them, unbelievable. She's unbelievable in that movie.
What are you watching it on? Because I was looking for it last night, and with all of the streaming platforms that we have, I couldn't find it.
I'm watching my 4K disc.
Yeah, I had to buy a digital thing.
Oh, well, there you go.
All right.
Gee, if
You
I had
come over
anything
and
to
watch
play,
it.
what do you even play a 4K disc on?
Turntables.
The disrespect I get on the show. The disrespect.
All right, what's next?
Oh my gosh, I love you guys. Alan S. says, hi team, I haven't seen Dune yet, but I want to watch so that I can see the sequel. Do you think theaters may give it a re-release before the second one comes out later this year?
You know what? If it was happening in the next 30 to 60 days, like if Dune 2 was coming out in the next 30 to 60 days, I would say, yeah, the theaters are still starving for content, all that kind of stuff. But by the time we get deeper into 2023, the theaters will not be starving for content. Now they may listen, if what they might do is, I've seen this done a few times where, like, if the movie's opening on a Thursday, well, it officially opens on Friday, which means it really comes out on Thursday. You do these special fan event screenings on the Wednesday. That it's a double feature. You
Yep.
get to see Dune 1, Dune 2. I could see them doing something like that.
I would over under. I bet 75% they'll do that because it's the first movie ends in the middle of the book.
Yeah.
So what a great. I will go see that double feature, even though I've seen Dune like 100 times.
But also, let's remember that it's not like it doesn't cost any money to put a movie in theaters. Like, that's a huge investment to re-release a movie. It costs a lot of money, and depending on the number of screens, I could see them doing a re-release in the major markets, you know, at select specific theaters. There might be special, but a wide national release of the first movie is... It's just way too much money.
All right, what's next?
From Thomas BDL says, hi team, speaking of streaming services, did you see that Apple TV Plus hired Disney Plus's former president of marketing? With him on board and looking at their insanely strong 2023 slate, I think it will be a breakthrough year for them.
I have not seen that, but I did see, you know what? I can't believe we're not talking about it today. You see, Disney's got a new chairman of the board.
Yes.
And where did he come from again?
Nike.
Nike, that's right. Okay.
Interesting.
They tried to get Anne to join Nike a while ago. She had a job offer.
Now there's a vacancy.
I mean, you take that one. And it's not any drama, It's that the members of the board of directors have a 15-year term limit. And the woman who took over for Bob Iger is chairman of the board. Her 15-year limit is now up, so they had to go out and get a new chairman of the board. So yeah, you've got a former Nike head is now the chairman of the board of Disney. So that is who, at least for now, that's who Bob Iger answers to.
I wonder if did it affect the stock price at all?
I did not look.
I didn't look either.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
The Everything Entertainment Network says with the collaborative success that they've had, how long do you think before Universal purchases Blumhouse outright?
Won't happen. And the reason it won't happen is because Jason Blum knows he's in the driver's seat. He has been slowly becoming over the past 7, 8, 9 years one of the major power players in the business. And his business is doing nothing but doing great things. And I don't think he's interested in so he can get a sweet deal with any studio he wants. I think he's going to keep it independent.
And he just teamed up with James Wan's Atomic Monster.
Yeah.
Where they're merging the companies together.
I mean, and they look at Megan is a collaboration between the two of them.
Yeah.
I mean, James Wan's friends who wrote Malignant wrote Megan. I mean, she's a powerhouse writer. So they're creating quite the little empire over there.
They really are. All right, what's next?
Bright says, I like the concept of a Thunderbolts movie, especially with the rumored plot of mining adamantium. Thank you. Adamantium. Thank you. From
Tiamat.
Tiamat and Sentry as the villain, but I still want my Midnight Suns anti-hero team. Oy.
Well, I mean, okay, so here's I don't know that I believe any of those reports, by the way. All those reports for, it's going to be about this and this and this. I don't know that I buy any of that. I'm not telling you you can't believe it. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying I personally don't buy it for now until I see some actual evidence. But it does bring up a problem of, okay, Sentry and Tiamat, what are the members of Thunderbolts going to do? Seriously, what is Walmart Captain America
don't say
going
that.
to do against Tiamat or Sentry? What is Yelena? I mean, I'm sure her boots kick really hard. What's Yelena gonna do against? So I don't know. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see whatever they're gonna do.
I mean, I think whatever the Thunderbolts are doing would play into what New World Order is about.
I don't doubt that.
I think something they're going to have a cool story of some kind.
All right, what's next?
Ariel Kalb says, hi, John and crew. So I know that Guardians of the Galaxy is coming out. I also know that the High Evolutionary is going to be in it. Am I saying that right?
Yes, you are.
Oh, which is pretty cool. Do you think he's going to be a variant of Kang?
No, I don't either. But yeah, you don't either? How do you think they're going to use them?
I mean, I think they're two different characters. Maybe they could be in cahoots somehow, but I don't think that. I mean, not everybody's a variant of Kang. Like, I think that. Although, you know what? Who knows? I honestly, I don't have a sense of where all this is going to go until we see Quantumania. Because even at the end of Loki, He Who Remains or whatever, I understand where they're kind of going with it. But until we see, I mean, I want to know, is there a connection to Quantumania to Guardians 3? I don't think there would be, but maybe there is. I just don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's not going to be connected. Because remember,
think so
like
either.
James Gunn wrote the script to Guardians 3 many years ago. I remember the script was finished before he initially got fired from Disney, which that has got to be 5 years ago now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's hard to imagine that it is, but it's not impossible. All right, what's next?
Quinn Udi says, what are some of your favorite guilty pleasure movies? A few of mine would be The Benchwarmers and Pain and Gain.
I don't think there's anything guilty pleasure about Pain and Gain. That's just a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's an all-time, but that's a good movie. I mean, look, I always have the same answer. Rob knows what I'm going to say. Everybody knows what I'm going to say. Vanilla Ice is Cool as Ice is the ultimate guilty pleasure movie. It is the most delightful. You get some friends together, have some adult beverages, have some food, and then as a group, you watch Vanilla Ice is Cool as Ice, and you are going to be entertained. You are going to be entertained in all of its awfulness, but brilliantly entertaining in the most unintended ways. But I
Nobody
mean,
ever shows up to that, huh?
what's that?
Nobody ever shows up.
Oh,
But what, like, how would you define a guilty pleasure movie, though? Is it a movie that legitimately is bad, but it's trying to be good, but you watch it to be, or is it?
I would define it as a movie most people dislike, and you yourself would be, yep, I can see why everybody dislikes it, but I can't help it. I really love watching this.
I mean, mine is Star Crash, this cheap Italian ripoff of Star Wars that was made in 1978 that I dearly, dearly love.
See, mine was Armageddon. Because everybody hated that at first. But more and more lately, over the last 5, 6, 7 years, whenever I bring up Armageddon, a lot of people have told me, John, you shouldn't call that one a guilty pleasure movie. A lot of people love it. I'm like, all right, I guess I'll take that one off the list.
Because I mean, bad movies, you can like bad movies, but I also love the movie Tough Turf from 1985, which stars Robert Downey Jr. and James Spader and Kim Richards and Olivia Barish. It's directed by Fritz Kirsch, who directed Children of the Corn.
Rob,
It's
you'll appreciate this. I would say that my guilty pleasure movie is Student Bodies from 1981. Ooh. Yeah, big throwback. That was one of the first horror movies that I ever saw.
But that movie it's fun.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why this is hard. Maybe Mannequin.
That's a good one with Andrew.
Andrew
with the girl from Sex and the City?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
With
Kim Cattrall.
Kim Cattrall
Because
and
these
Andrew
movies they have value. Like I think bad movies. Like I love Hudson Hawk. Hudson Hawk's not great, but that's definitely a guilty pleasure. Richard E. Grant, Sandra Bernard are in that as the villains. Are great.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun with a young Helen Hunt and Sarah Jessica Parker.
Sounds like SquarePants.
And of course, Megaforce.
Okay, that's a guilty pleasure.
Deeds, not words. Deeds, not Megaforce, guys. Find it.
The good guys
Savage
always
Dragon
win,
in the
even
chat
the
says
end.
Showgirls. I feel like Showgirls is the quintessential guilty pleasure movie.
I have it in 4K.
Of course you do.
I'm going 1982's The Pirate Movie.
Ooh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Is that Christy McNichol
Yeah, and I love that movie.
and Jim Belushi?
Earth
No.
Girls Are Easy. Ray Bernal. I agree. I love that movie.
All right,
Gina
we need to
Davis?
keep moving
Okay,
on
yeah.
here.
We could go
What's
on
next?
forever. CJ Rebirth. Hello, crew. Aaron, now that the CW show Dynasty is over, I want to ask, what was it like working on it? It was so much fun. I loved it. I was hoping there would be a spinoff, Dynasty Legal. Or, the
Dynasty Law.
Dynasty Law, exactly.
That's a
so
great
for those
title
of you
for
in
a
the
show.
chat that
Yeah,
were saying
I'd
that they
watch
want to
that.
see me play a lawyer, I got to play a lawyer in Dynasty. It was wonderful. The cast was just friendly and lovely and kind, and everybody was like, "Yeah, we're not doing rocket science here. We're just." Doing a show that also kind of like a guilty pleasure. We're just having fun. We're giving the people what they want. And I became very friendly with a lot of the cast members, Elaine Hendricks being one of them. Really great, exciting show to work on. Lots of fun and always a great time in Atlanta.
All right, what's next?
From Amin says, fun fact, the hourly dong sound in Glass Onion is actually the voice of Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Is that true?
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
No, you're kidding.
Yeah, it's like a secret cameo that he did.
That's funny because I guess that makes sense because Ryan Johnson and Joseph Gordon-Levitt have and continue to work with each other.
Yeah.
So
Selling brick.
I had no idea. Now when I watch it again, I'm going to have to pay attention to that. All right, what's next?
Joe Howland says, hey, John. I love it. Hey, John. I wanted to say that I've been a fan for many years now, since Man of Steel. Have you heard anything about the new Alien Romulus movie coming to Hulu? Love everything you guys do and bring on the filthy.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
It's Fede Alvarez who did Don't Breathe and the Evil Dead remake.
Not to be confused with Fatty Arbuckle, who we were talking about earlier.
That's right. He went in and pitched this new Alien take.
Oh, it's an actual alien.
It's an alien movie, so
I
it's
thought,
it's
'cause
not-
What did it say on the? What did it say? He said alien. Like it sounded like one.
Alien.
Well, the
No, but he
code
had a
name
lead
that
in
it's
about
being,
another movie, and then he switched
Oh, yeah, it sounded
gears to
like
the
something
Alien.
code name that it's being shot under is Romulus.
Oh, Alien
Okay,
so it's
Romulus.
Alien
movie,
Romulus.
It sounded like because it sounded like a Star Trek fan film or something.
Right.
Like
No,
that.
no. This is an actual, and apparently I think it goes before the cameras in March. But apparently it's supposed to be great.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, what's next?
Mark Newman says, what's a movie you'd take back in time to 1985 to blow minds? I'd take Dune and Man of Steel. Wow. I would take Lion King.
Oh wow. Yeah, that ranks right up there because you take that back to 1985, and they are seriously going to be sitting there asking, "How did you train the lions to talk?"
I asked that when we saw it 2 years
Yeah,
ago.
I remember that. And the other one I would say is probably not because it's the best movie, but I would take Avatar
Yeah.
Yep.
or Avatar 2
That's
back
top
to
of my list.
1985.
Cinematically, it's Avatar 2.
Yeah,
The Terminal.
if you and the Terminal, you take these back to somebody like you take that back to little teeny bopper John in 1985 and show me those movies. I won't believe that. I wouldn't believe it. I think I was having a fever dream.
I'd take Force Awakens just to freak
Yeah,
people out.
yeah. I mean,
Oh, that's true.
Yep.
That'd be right off the heels.
Because
Yep.
then they'd be like, well, Harrison Ford's old.
all right. What's
He's
next?
dead.
Stubble McShave says, Rob, are you getting that white suit indie from Temple of Doom?
I didn't know who's there. I've always wanted that suit from the beginning.
From
when
the
he's at-
Anything
when-
Goes musical.
Yeah, when he's
the
at Club
tuxedo.
Obi-Wan. I didn't know they were making that. Who's making that? Third party. I'd love to get that. Bring
right.
it on.
Let's. We got time for just a couple more. What's
All
next?
From Ryan Rodriguez, who says, what are you looking forward to more, Kang Dynasty or Secret Wars?
I mean, obviously, Secret Wars. Not because of anything else other than that's the climax. So I guess that one. Yeah, look, I'm looking forward to both of them very much. You know what? I will say this. I need to see Ant-Man before I really get a sense for how excited I am or am not for Avengers Kang Dynasty. Because let's face it, if we go into Ant-Man 3 and he looks great in the trailers, lots of horrible pieces of garbage look great in trailers. If we go in and watch Ant-Man 3 and we are completely underwhelmed by the character of Kang and what they
And the
do with them,
haircut.
I'm telling you what, they might they might kill Avengers Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars before they even get going. And you better get people on board with this character in this movie. I mean, no pressure, but you have to 100% deliver because if you don't now, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Kang Dynasty story is also very different than the Hickman's, especially Secret Wars story. And it's like they're taking these two things. I mean, they're very different. I love the Kang Dynasty story that I recently reread. It's like 12 issues long. It's huge. It's huge. I don't know how they're going to do those two movies. Like, I don't have a sense of it at all. Whereas Infinity War went right into Endgame. It's one story. Are they going to do that with Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars? I don't know.
All right, let's take one more. What's our last one here today?
Oh, Joey Bishop's going to help me read this. This is from Michael Gonzalez, who says ESPN has confirmed a Mando 3 trailer for halftime of the Cowboys-Bucks game. Wow.
Wow. I was already excited about watching. Listen, I'm not delusional. Cowboys suck. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers suck more this year.
You don't think Brady will pull it out?
Listen, if
What are we talking about?
if it was, I
now.
just it's just that Dallas has too many advantages. It's more than one guy, and they have too many different advantages. The offense. So this is going to be a Dallas win. Then they're going to get crushed in the next round. Dallas will get crushed in the next round.
Question.
That being said, hey, watching Pat McAfee, who is Pat McAfee. I'm not saying he copied me because he doesn't know I exist, but he's basically, for those of you who don't know, Pat McAfee's kind of got his version of the John Campea show, except they just talk about sports. And and he's a millionaire, so that's the other big difference. but I actually love Pat McAfee's show. If you know him, say hey to him for me. But I remember I was watching Pat McAfee the other day, and they're like, all the insiders right now are saying Tom Brady is going to the Las Vegas Raiders next year. To which Ann and I were like, maybe we should buy our season passes to the Raiders before they make an announcement that maybe we roll the dice. Because the moment, if Tom Brady does go to the Raiders, season ticket prices for the Raiders are going to go way high. So we're thinking if we should just maybe make an investment and buy some of those tickets now. But that would be fun.
Well, do you really think that could happen?
Yeah. Because listen, the guy who Brady won multiple Super Bowls with, his offensive coordinator was Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels is now the head coach for the Raiders. So could I see him going there to take for Play one more year. And listen, the Raiders got a lot of really good pieces. And if it's not Tom Brady, here's the other thing. I think Jimmy G ends up in the Raiders. If Tom Brady doesn't go there, I think Jimmy G does. Because again, Jimmy G, Josh McDaniels coached him. Josh McDaniels likes him. But I think Tom Brady's going to go there next year, and I'm going to get season tickets.
Wow.
I'll go to Vegas twice a month.
That's exciting.
Go watch some games. All right. What's
Go
next?
Seahawks.
All right. I said that was the last
So we're
one.
not even going to talk about the fact that they were talking about the Mando 3 trailer?
Oh, right.
That was the entire question.
So I needed
Yeah, you guys
another
know about
time. I went down this rabbit hole talking about the playoffs this weekend. So,
Jeez.
as if I needed more reason to watch the game, a little Mando 3 action. I think that's that. Hopefully, it's not a 65-7 game, and we had to just sit through it and wait for the trailer to come, like we had to wait for the Ant-Man trailer the other night. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see where they're going to bring us. I think Mando season 3 is going to be the best season they've done yet. It just the first little glimpses we're getting are so great. I love that they're incorporating more of the actual Mandalorian lore. Can't wait. It's going to be exciting. All right. With that down, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making this show part of your day. Big special thank you to you, our channel members who sent in those questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all the people involved here at the John Campea Show, thank you guys so much for your support. Listen, guys, a little bit later today at 3 p.m., we will be doing an open mic. So make sure you come on back, and that'll be open for everybody with the super chat, stuff like that. We hope to see you there. And of course, make sure you come back and join us for the Friday installment of the John Campea Show tomorrow. We hope you guys will come back and join us again. All right. I don't know why my watch always thinks I'm talking to it. For everybody in the room, Robert Meyer Burnett, Ray Ora, Taylor Gonzalez, Jonathan Voico, and of course, Aaron Cummings and Joey Bishop. My name's John Campea, guys. Thanks a lot for being here. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.
Oh, God. Come on now.
Send your-